In this guide, I will help you gear up your character efficiently when you reach level 90 in Mist of Pandaria Classic. The first thing you would like to do is to train the new flying skill so you can also fly in Pandaria. The price for this is 2500 gold, and as an alliance you train it right here. As a horde player you will have to go to the other city, but this is also nearby, right over here. The reason for getting flying mount quickly is because it's gonna be important if you wish to gear up quickly. One of the things you could prioritize doing is to continue questing in the higher level zones, as you will be getting decent rewards here. The zones I'm talking about is Town Long Steppes and Dread Waste. As we're questing, we will also be gaining reputation and eventually also unlock daily quests so we can continue farming reputation. And like every expansion, reputations are always important in the beginning, as you can get some decent rare and epic items. The faction you need to prioritize all depends on your class, but in my opinion it's always good to go for the Golden Lotus and also the Klaxi. But I have a reputation guide where I'm also talking about each individual faction and how we start gaining reputation with those. You can find this on my channel. It will also be important to do those daily quests, as you're being rewarded with Valor points and also the lesser charm of good fortune. This is a new currency you'll need in order to perform bonus rolls. I'll get back to how we get these later in the video, as it's not really that important yet. When you're doing different things in the open world, then you should always pay attention to nearby rares, as they have a 100% chance to drop a rare item, and some of these can be useful at level 90. Now is also the time for you to start working on your profession if you haven't already done this, as you can craft yourself rare and epic items with some of them. For example, with alchemy you can craft this amazing trinket, and the insane thing is that it only requires you to be level 85, so you could be using this as you were leveling up. But besides being able to craft rare and epic items for yourself, then you can also craft things you can sell on the auction house to make gold, and this gold you can then spend on new things. But it's not like you only need to purchase rare and epics. No, maybe there might even be a green item that will be better for you, so you can also increase your item level. An easy way to also increase your item level is to get this 450 trinket. Even though this is crafted by engineers, then the amazing thing is that you don't need to be an engineer to equip it. So it's a great way to quickly boost your item level. Just remember, you also need to get the gems or well the gear into the trinket. These are unique equipped, so you can only have one of each in the trinket. In other words, you will need to go with 3 different ones. This is however not too bad, because in the beginning you are lacking a lot of hit and expertise anyway, so those are 2 gear, and then you can go for another stat you need, maybe mastery or haste. While you're at the auction house, you could also check for the blue PvP gear. A good change in Mist of Pandaria is that these items are now also decent in PvE, because you're still getting 2 stats, and not just 1 and then resilience. As you have been leveling up, or if you did preparations before Mist of Pandaria, then you might also have a lot of justice points. This we can also use. The Quatermasters I'm talking about is at this location in Town Long Steppes. The reason for mentioning this Quatermaster is because it requires no reputation, but this is of course only useful if you had any leftover justice points, as you can use it now to also boost your item level, so you can hopefully head into a dungeon very soon. This also brings us on to the next topic: start farming justice points in normal or heroics. If you complete a random normal dungeon, you will receive justice points at the end. A heroic will reward you valor points at the end. And there's also going to be the new celestial dungeons. These are way more difficult and something you will definitely not be able to do yet. But I will get back to these celestial dungeons later in the video, and also what items we can get from these. If your item level is too low, then you won't be able to sign for a random dungeon, and you will then need to go for a specific dungeon. This you then do until your item level is high enough for you to start doing random normals. Next, you would like to continue dungeon farming, so you're hopefully also getting some new upgrades. No matter if you're doing heroics or normals, then remember there's also going to be quests in here, and those are honestly rewarding you pretty decent loot. Yeah, even if you're just doing a normal dungeon. Maybe you're even lucky enough to get yourself a world drop as you're farming these dungeons. In Mist of Pandaria, open world bosses are also back in the game. We're talking about Galleon and also Shah of Anger in phase 1. These will be important to kill every single week, but you will only need to kill them once a week, as you will also be locked out from receiving more loot. The logout time of course also depends on when you're killing this boss during the week, as it will reset at Wednesday for Europe and Tuesday for NA. But before you start doing this, you should also make sure you're getting an Elder Charm of Good Fortune so you can perform a bonus roll. Yeah, maybe you're lucky enough to get yourself a tier piece or another epic, but having these bonus rolls are amazing if you're getting yourself an additional epic item. To get these Elder Charms of Good Fortune, you'll need to head to Shrine of the Two Moons as a Horde player, and at the lower level you'll find the Charm Maker right here. As an alliance, you'll instead need to go for Shrine of the 7 Stars, and once again, at the bottom, you will find a Charm Maker here to your right. But to get these, you will also need to complete the quest from the Charm Maker, and this requires you to bring 50 lesser charms of good fortune. There's many different ways to farm these. Some rares do for example drop 3 of them, while other daily quests are granting you a couple of them as well. There's many different ways to farm these, and soon I will also publish a video about my different farming methods. If you don't want to miss this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're also getting notified when I publish it. The moment you have got your Elder Charms of Good Fortune, you're also ready to start slaying the different world bosses. When you kill Sharp Anger, you will also receive an item that begins a quest where you're getting a guaranteed epic. This quest item you deliver to this NPC in Town Long Steps. Next, you will be able to choose an epic pair of boots. As a monk, it is obvious leather items, but if you were for example playing a cloth user, you would be able to choose an epic pair of cloth boots. Before you leave this area, speak to this NPC over here, as this is where you will also begin a long quest chain for your legendary items. Yeah, in phase 1, it's going to be one of these legendary gems. To complete all the different steps, you will have to do a rather long quest chain, but the good thing is I've already covered this in another video. I will leave this in the description below this video, as this will be something you can also do while you're waiting for your next dungeon group or other things to start. What you could also be doing instead of normal dungeons is scenarios, as these will also reward you Valor points, but also a treasure. What I like about scenarios is that it only requires 3 people. They're rather easy to do, and you can sign as whatever specialization you're playing. In the treasure, you can get yourself decent items, for example a ring like this with item level 450. As you're getting justice points and valor points, you gotta remember to spend this at the Quatermaster. The Valor Quatermaster can be found right next to where you're also spending your justice points. There's also other ways to spend your valor points and justice points. It is when you're farming reputations. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you can spend this currency at those factions to get other epics you can't purchase at the Valor Quatermaster. Once you have got yourself a decent enough item level to start signing for celestial dungeons, then I would recommend you to be doing so. These are of course a bit more difficult, but then again, you're also getting this new currency. This is also spent in Shrine of the Two Moons or Shrine of the 7 Stars. In Mist of Pandaria Classic, Raid Finder isn't introduced. This is why we have also got these new dungeons celestial, as we can get the original Raid Finder gear by obtaining this new currency. You can get pretty much every single phase 1 epic item here, so it's a great way to easily catch up to be ready for normal raids. By the way, a small trick. Healers and tanks are usually getting way faster queues, so if you're playing a DPS specialization where your gear could also be used for either tank or healer, then you could always be doing those dungeons as that specialization. This makes you able to gear up a lot quicker, but remember, if you're signing as a healer, you're not supposed to for example roll on a DPS trinket, unless you're doing a pre-made group. What I also like about Mist of Pandaria is that you can change your loot specialization. So if you're killing an open world boss and you're tanking, then you can always set your specialization to another spec, and if you get an item, for example, from your bonus roll, then it will also be for that specialization. In other words, if your guild would like you to heal on an encounter, then you can change your loot specialization to DPS, and through your bonus roll, you can still get items for your main specialization. But before you start raiding, you should also be working on your enchants, gems, consumables, reforging, yeah, anything that can actually improve your character's performance. If there's something missing here that you will be doing to gear up quickly, then make sure to also post a comment below the video with whatever you do to help other people. And if you found this guide helpful, then I would also appreciate if you would like it, as it will make sure it's also reaching out to more people and even helping me as a content creator. Soon I'll also publish a lot of other useful Mist of Pandaria guides, so if you don't want to miss those, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.